from waffles and wraps to muffins and macarons. In today's video, I have 7 awesome lunch ideas to share with you that are all super creative and colorful. All of these lunches are super easy to put together, so come along with me today and I'll show you how to make them. Now in this video, I'm showing lots of different lunch ideas, including some sent in by my subscribers, as well as lunches that I make for my own kids. And you guys, for my kids' lunches this week, we decided it would be really fun to do the eating only one color food challenge. So Mackenzie's lunch is going to be pink, Jackson's is going to be orange, Miss Lily's lunch is going to be blue, and for Griffin, he's getting a green lunch. Now give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and let's get on to the lunches. First up, I'm going to be putting together Mackenzie's lunch, and even though all of my kids are eating their lunches at home, I am still going to go ahead and use their lunch boxes because I think the food looks a lot cuter that way. So for Mackenzie's main course, I'm going to go ahead and add in some of these salami roll-ups. This salami is a nice soft pink color. Technically the cheese inside is not pink, but that's okay. And to get these salami rolls to fit better in Mackenzie's lunchbox, I did go ahead and cut them up just a little bit. Next up, I'm going to be adding something super special and sweet. These beautiful cherries are called Rainier cherries, and instead of the dark red color you would normally see in cherries, these are a nice blush pink. Now this type of cherry is definitely a treat because they're only ripe for a few short months during the year. And I'm going to go ahead and leave the pits in these cherries because I know my oldest daughter will totally be able to handle them. But if you have smaller kids, you might want to go ahead and take the pits out first. Next, I'm going to be adding in some watermelon. Now I know usually watermelon is a nice red color, but since we're kind of early in watermelon season, this particular watermelon is more of a dark pink color. So I'm totally going to use it for today's lunch. And since I can't think of any vegetables that are pink, I'm just going to go ahead and double up on the fruit for Mackenzie's lunch. Next, I'm going to add in some goldfish crackers, and these work out perfectly because these are the pink princess ones. And then for Mackenzie's sweet treat, I'm going to add in just one single raspberry macaron. Now let me know in the comments down below if you've ever tried macarons before. My whole family loves them, but they are a special treat. We don't have them very often. And now to complete Mackenzie's lunch, I'm going to be adding in a DIY Starbucks pink drink. Now you guys, I love copycat recipes, especially when it comes from Starbucks. This pink drink is surprisingly easy to make, and it's a lot cheaper if you make your own at home versus buying it at Starbucks. So this recipe actually makes more than 1 serving of pink drink, and I'm actually going to start with just 2 cups of water. Next, I'm going to add 1 entire packet of the Starbucks Very Berry Hibiscus drink mix. Then I'm going to add 1 cup of the Tazo Iced Passion Tea. Now that I have that all mixed together, I'm going to top it all off with about a cup or so of coconut milk. And you can use sweetened or unsweetened. It really just depends on how sweet you want your drink to be. Now to finish off this pink drink, I'm just going to pour it over some ice. And then to top it all off, I'm just adding a few freeze-dried strawberry slices. And there you have it, a delicious and refreshing pink drink. Here's Mackenzie's lunch before and Mackenzie's lunch after.
My favorite thing was the salami wrap. I also love the pink drink and the cherries. Next up is a subscriber lunch. This was sent by Bree from Dallas, Texas.
Okay guys, so for Bree's lunch today, I'm actually going to start by making a Beauty and the Beast inspired treat because I know that Bree loves Beauty and the Beast. To make these treats, I'm going to start by placing some Oreo cookies on a little baking rack, and I have this on top of a cookie sheet. Oh yes, and I'm going to go ahead and make 6 of these because I know everyone in the family is going to want to try one. Now you definitely could use any kind of Oreo cookie that you like for this. I went ahead and got the lemon flavored ones because they're already yellow, and whenever I think of Belle, I think of her iconic yellow dress. And speaking of yellow, I'm just going to take a few of these yellow melting chocolates and I'm going to melt them in the microwave. microwave. Then I'm going to very carefully add them to a Ziploc bag so I can add a beautiful yellow drizzle to each of the Oreo cookies. If you wanted to, you could dip the entire cookie in yellow. And you guys, while this chocolate is still wet, I'm going to sprinkle each cookie with a little bit of this edible gold glitter. This is so pretty, and it definitely makes this dessert look extra fancy. And then to go along with the Belle theme, I'm also going to add one candy rose on top of each cookie, because of course roses totally go with Belle and Beauty and the Beast as well. So now I'm going to set these cookies in my fridge so that the chocolate can harden, and while that's happening, I'm going to put together the rest of Bree's lunch. For Bree's main course, she requested some mac and cheese muffin cups. All you have to do is cook up 8 ounces of elbow macaroni. And while that's still nice and hot, you're going to add in 2 cups of shredded cheddar cheese. Now I'm just going to mix this all up. Then in a separate bowl, I'm going to mix together 2 eggs and 1 cup of milk. And I'm just going to beat this up thoroughly and then add it into my pot and mix that all around. Next, I'm going to scoop this delicious macaroni mixture into some muffin liners. This definitely helps make cleanup a breeze. Then, before I stick these into the oven, I'm going to top each one with just a little bit more shredded cheese and about a tablespoon of seasoned breadcrumbs. And that's just going to make the top be nice and cheesy and crispy. And they just take about 20 minutes in the oven at 400 degrees. Check it out, you guys. These look so cheesy and they smell delicious. I'm going to go ahead and add 2 of these little muffins into Bree's lunch and then move on to her fruit. In this front section, I'm going to add some chunks of mango, and in the back section, I'm adding in some broccoli with ranch for dipping. For Bree's snack today, she requested these mini peanut butter crackers. So I'm just going to put a handful of these right over here. And then right next to them, I have just enough space for our special Beauty and the Beast cookies. And now the very last thing I'm adding into Bree's lunch is a fruit drink with the Belle topper. Next up, I'm going to be making my son Jackson's lunch, and for this one, I can only add in foods that are orange. For his main course, I'm going to start by cooking up some mac and cheese, and this is the penne and 4 cheese kind, which is definitely one of my favorites. And even though this is pretty orange just by itself, I am going to go ahead and add just a little bit of extra food coloring. But you guys, I recently found this kind on Amazon, and you guys, this one contains no artificial dyes. So these colors are made from plants, veggies, and seeds. Now I'm not quite sure if this food coloring is going to work, so I'm just going to add a little bit of the yellow color and the pink color to hopefully make this mac and cheese orange. And you guys, when it comes to dyeing noodles, I always like to add my food coloring to the water when I'm cooking the noodles. I think it turns out a lot better that way and not so gloppy. Now check it out, you guys. These noodles are pretty orange. I think that natural food coloring totally worked. Now I'm gonna go ahead and get this into Jackson's lunchbox. If I was sending this to school, I would probably put it in a thermos, but since he's gonna eat this right away, it's totally fine. And in this same section, I've also left a little bit of space to add in Jackson's fruit. Now there are quite a few choices when it comes to orange fruits, but today I'm just gonna add in some mandarin oranges. So I'm just gonna add a little bit right here to create a cute little fruit cup. Now moving on to Jackson's snack, I'm gonna be adding in some big Cheez-It crackers. And I wanted to show you the difference here, you guys. This is a big Cheez-It size, and this is the regular Cheez-It size. So they are a lot bigger. So in go the crackers, and I have just enough space for a few cubes of cheese. For Jackson's veggie, we're gonna keep it super simple and just add in some carrot slices. Now it was kind of hard to find some orange treats, but I decided to go with some chocolate covered almonds, and of course I'm just going to be picking out the orange ones. And now to complete Jackson's lunch, I'm adding in this little Honest Kids juice pouch, and this is in the tropical flavor, and I picked this one because it's in an orange package. Jackson's lunch before and Jackson's lunch after.
My favorite part of this lunch was the mac and cheese and the juice. Our next subscriber lunch was sent in by Ayah, and she's from Iraq.
Okay guys, so for Ayah's lunch, she requested a PJ Masks theme. So for her main course, I'm going to start by toasting up a Nutri-Grain waffle. Once that's nice and toasted, I'm going to try my best to make this waffle look like an owl. And this is kind of to represent the owlet character in the PJ Masks series. So I've added some peanut butter, some banana and blueberries for the eyes. I'm adding some Cheerios at the bottom and some orange slices on the side for the wings. And we can't forget about the little beak, the ears, and the feet. Check it out, you guys. This little waffle owl is so cute. So now that this cute little waffle owl is done, I'm going to move on to Ayah's fruit. She requested a combination of oranges and blueberries. Next, in the back section, I'm going to add in some cucumber slices. For Ayah's snack, I'm going to be adding in some very special cheese crackers. These ones are in the PJ Masks character shapes. And then right next to these, I have just enough room for a couple pieces of rainbow sour belts. Now, I'm not quite sure if these tie into PJ Masks or if they're just Ayah's favorite treat. And now, last but not least, for Ayah's drink, I'm going to be adding in some apple juice with the owlet character topper. Okay guys, now that brings me to my daughter Lily's lunch, and this one is definitely a challenge because for her lunch I can only add blue food. And there really aren't that many foods that are naturally blue. For Lily's lunch, I'm going to start by making some waffle sticks. To make these, I'm using some protein waffle mix and this super cute waffle stick maker. And just like with my son Jackson's lunch, I'm going to use some of this natural food coloring to turn these waffles blue. And now all I have to do is spray my little waffle iron and fill it up with batter. Now I think these turned out super blue. And speaking of blue, next up I'm going to be adding in some blueberries. And since I couldn't find any blue vegetables, I went ahead and cooked up some pasta. And since I couldn't find any blue vegetables, I went ahead and got a box of this veggie pasta. It actually has a little bit of zucchini in it, and to make it blue, I added some of the natural blue food coloring. Now this pasta is pretty plain. I just tossed it with a little bit of olive oil and some salt and pepper, but I think this is probably going to be Lily's favorite thing out of the whole lunch. Now to go along with Lily's lunch, I'm also going to add in this little fruit pouch with chia seeds, and this is in the wild raspberry flavor. Next, I'm going to add in some very special blue popcorn. Now this is actually a treat that I found at Target, and they had several different varieties. They had a unicorn popcorn, they had a 4th of July popcorn, and of course since this is a blue lunch, I'm just going to be picking out the blue ones. And then for her drink, I'm going to be adding in some super blue Gatorade.
My favorite part of this lunch was the blue Gatorade, the waffles, and the spaghetti. Our next subscriber lunch is sent by Mia from Johannesburg.
For Mia's main course, she requested a chicken Caesar wrap. So for this, I'm just starting with a nice soft tortilla. Then I'm going to drizzle on some Caesar salad dressing. Next, I'm going to add in some grilled chicken, followed by a good amount of chopped lettuce. And then whenever I have Caesar salad, I love extra Parmesan cheese. So for this wrap, I'm just going to add a handful of Parmesan cheese right on top. And that is pretty much all there is to it. I'm just going to wrap it up as tightly as I can. And then I like to cut these on the diagonal so that they fit better in the lunchbox. For Mia's vegetables, she requested a combination of carrots and sugar snap peas. And then for her fruit, she requested a combination of pineapple and mango. Now I've saved some room in the back of the lunchbox for Mia's snack and treat. For her snack, she requested some sour cream and onion potato chips. So I'm actually gonna add in some Pringles. These just fit perfectly right in here. And then for her sweet treat, she requested a good old Rice Krispie treat. And now the very last thing I'm adding into Mia's lunch is some fruit punch with a Minion topper. Okay guys, Griffin's lunch is up next. And since he tends to be a picky eater too, I decided to make him an all green lunch because I know there are a lot of different green foods that he'll actually eat. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you'll know that my son Griffin loves cheese, so I'm actually going to be putting 2 different kinds of green cheese in his lunch today. Now, I found these at Aldi a while ago, but they're not expired yet, so we're going to give them a try. One of them has sage flavoring added, and the other one has pesto flavoring added. I'm pretty sure he's going to like these. Next, I'm going to add in some Mickey-shaped veggie chips. And of course, I'm just adding in the green ones. And then over in this corner, I have just enough room for some edamame. And then over here, I'm adding some avocado. Griffin absolutely loves avocado. In fact, it was his very first solid food. Next, I'm going to be adding in some green cotton candy grapes. And since Griffin is a little bit older now, I don't really worry about cutting these grapes anymore. Now for Griffin's sweet treat, I picked up this pack of dragon pudding. Now we've never tried this before and it looks really interesting. I'm just going to go ahead and put a little bit in the center section of his lunchbox. Now to complete Griffin's lunch, I'm also going to be giving him some green juice. Now if you've never tried this before, don't let the green color scare you. This drink does have things like kale and spinach in there, but really all you taste is a sweet juice. It's very good. And I know Griffin's going to be excited to see it. Now if you'd like even more fun lunch ideas, you can click on the video right here. And if you'd like to see our summer morning routine, you can click on the video right there. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.